Coming up on 8:05 now, NPR affiliates all across the country, including WFAE here in Charlotte, are working to figure out what their future of their programming looks like without federal funding.
Yeah, some moves have already been made. WFAE leaders announced that they will cut staff and continue reducing other expenses.
Queen City News anchor Savannah Rudisell's live at their station this morning, speaking with those leaders about the changes coming. Savannah, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. We were just talking with one of the heads of the financial side here of WFAE, and he tells me that previously they were about 88% membership listener funded, and now that number jumping up to 94%. So there's a pretty big gap that they have to make up now with losing about, well, nationally, $1.1 billion to NPR and PBS affiliates like WFAE here. So right now we want to talk about how they plan to change this and make up this gap. We've got the executive director of membership with us, Candace Johnson. Candace, thank you so much for talking with us here this morning. What kind of challenge is in front of you about right now?
So this is a huge challenge for us, right? And so when you think about how much and how many years the funding has been available to local NPR stations, a loss like this hits across the board really hard. Naturally, for WFAE, our loss is about $1 million. And so when you think about that cost across the board, it's significant. And so we're looking at being able to close the gap as best as we can, because what we don't want to do is skimp or be able to say, you know, what we provide is going to lessen, right? We're going to always provide you with the very best and still keep that excellent level of journalism. But we understand that we are in a crunch at this point.
Because have you had those conversations about what do we need to do next if we don't get the gap closed? We
have. And so, you know, you've heard about different people, layoffs and different things of reducing costs. And so we've had to do those things. And so unfortunately, as much as we hate to consider losing colleagues or being able to have to say goodbye to people, but it's a real thing, right? And so we have to look at, well, how do we sustain the organization? Because as this moment has appeared for us right now, we've got to get past this moment. And so this is our new normal. And so that funding is gone. And so we've got to be able to make those adjustments because we want to be able to remain here and stay here and serve the public.
What do those steps look like? What kind of adjustments?
So the adjustments look like, naturally, we did have to do some layoffs. And we also have to consider wearing a few more hats, right? And so we're all kind of pretty much saying, okay, we're shoulder to shoulder. We're going to do this work that we've always done together and just kind of step in and do what we must do, because we understand that the work that we provide, the service that we provide, this public service that we provide is really vital at this point. People need to know that when they turn to WFAE, whether you're streaming, whether you're listening in your car, that you know this information has been vetted, you know this information is fact-based.
What's your appeal now to donors, either potential or ones that you currently have supporting you?
So currently, today, we are starting our 4-day drive, and so a lot of stations are doing the same because this is our best way to be able to communicate with our listeners and to our members, to be able to say, listen, here's where we are, and let's meet the moment together. We've stood together for almost 45 years, and so we know that we want to be able to remain here for the next 45. And so we're asking our members and our supporters, and even our non-supporters who listen but haven't supported WFAE as of yet, today is your moment, today is your time to do that, because we are trying to do all that we can to close that gap, along with other steps that we're going to do off of the air. But this is our opportunity to kind of just come to you and say, here we are. We told you this was probably going to happen, and now it's happened. So now we're really depending on you to support this community, people-powered station that it's always been.
Right. While these cuts are hitting suddenly, it's not necessarily a surprise, right?
Correct.
We've been talking about it.
Yeah, the threats were there. The threats were there, and you know, we talked about how it's been threatened before, but this is a new moment. Like, the funding is gone, and so we've never quite got over that hill. And now that we're on the other side of that, you know, we're still kind of settling into the fact that funding is gone. And so we've got to readjust ourselves and just be prepared for the challenge that's ahead, but we know that we can get there together.
What else do you want people to understand about what you're asking for here in this moment?
Well, really and truly, what we want people to understand is this work is so vital to this community in this Charlotte region. We know that because as we show up and report about the school board, or we show up and report about Hurricane Helene relief, we know that you have relied on that information to kind of know what is going on, what's really happening in this Charlotte community, and we know that we are amplifying the voices of this community. The concerns and the challenges that this area has, we're amplifying amplifying those things and saying we want to be a community partner with you. So at this time, we just ask that people just remember what WFAE has been to you. If it's been something that you value, if it's been something that you depend on, think about that value. Think about if we went away, what does that look like? And so that's the question that we really want to pose to people, and know that we don't want to go away, right? And so we're standing here doing all that we can to be able to remain and to sustain ourselves.
Candace Johnson, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
talking
Thank
with
you
us.
so much.
Really appreciate it. And still ahead here a little bit later this morning, we also plan to be talking with the CEO and president of WFAE a little bit more, again, about what listeners can anticipate to happen here just within the next couple months, what the adjustments will look like, and again, a little bit more about closing the gap. Reporting live in Northeast Charlotte, Savannah Rudisell, Queen City News.
All right, again, Savannah, thank you for that. Look forward to hearing that next interview. We have it in our next hour.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.